My brother tried to frame me for poisoning our stepdad. He forgot about the doorbell camera. My brother forced me to watch him poison our stepfather slowly with antifreeze because he blamed him for our mother's death. My brother Kyle changed after mom died. He'd sit in mom's closet for hours, wearing her jewelry and talking to her like she was still alive. He collected mom's medical records and autopsy reports, studying them obsessively and highlighting every symptom. When our stepfather tried to donate mom's things, Kyle attacked him with scissors and had to be sedated. He started dissecting roadkill in the garage, comparing organ damage to mom's autopsy photos. He'd wake me up at night pressing a knife to my throat, whispering, "Tell me what he did to her." When I couldn't answer, he'd practice cutting precise lines on my arms, saying he was teaching me about pain so I'd understand what mom went through. When I was 15, Kyle showed me the antifreeze and photos he'd taken of me sleeping. Hundreds of them. Some showed him holding the knife to my throat, others had him pouring unknown liquids near my face. "I've been practicing on you for months," he said. "Every time you felt sick this year, that was me. Small doses of different things. I know exactly how much will kill you and how much will just make you wish you were dead." He explained I'd help poison our stepfather slowly, or he'd use what he'd learned on me, making it look like I'd poisoned myself out of grief. Every morning was a battlefield because I was trying to protect our stepfather without Kyle knowing. I'd accidentally knock over our stepdad's coffee, pretend to trip and spill his drinks, and create distractions so he'd leave his food. But Kyle always had backup plans. He'd poison his toothpaste, his deodorant, the steering wheel of his car. He made me watch everything to ensure I was learning mom's justice. I couldn't go to the police because Kyle was a cop. I knew if I tried, he'd have no problem convincing his buddies on the force that I was the real criminal. I tried leaving anonymous warnings to my stepdad, but Kyle intercepted them. I'd change his doctor's appointments to different days, hoping fresh eyes would catch the poisoning. But Kyle would find out and punish me by doubling his dose. Once I replaced his coffee with a fresh cup, and Kyle forced me to drink the poison one, watching with clinical fascination as I vomited for hours. My stepfather was deteriorating before my eyes. He'd stumble into walls, forget our names, and even once cried from how bad his head hurt. Kyle would comfort him, playing the perfect son while documenting his decline in his journals. He made me take photos of his worsening symptoms for his evidence collection. I lost 30 pounds from the stress, stopped sleeping, and started pulling out my own hair. Teachers noticed, but Kyle had already told everyone I was having a breakdown about mom. Every adult who might have helped thought I was the disturbed one while Kyle played the stable brother holding our family together. After 3 months of poisoning, our stepdad collapsed during dinner. While Kyle called 911 with fake panic, I saw our stepfather reaching for his phone to text his sister, "I love you," thinking he was dying. That's when I knew I couldn't let Kyle complete his plan. At the hospital, while Kyle performed his grieving son act, I pulled a nurse aside and whispered, "Test him for antifreeze poisoning." The nurse looked shocked, but took me seriously. They ran the test and found dangerous levels of ethylene glycol in his system. When they started treatment, Kyle realized what I'd done. He cornered me in the hospital bathroom, his face twisted with rage, but I'd already told the nurses he'd threatened me. Security arrived before he could hurt me, and I finally told them everything about his obsession with mom's death and the months of forced poisoning. Kyle switched tactics instantly, telling his buddies at the station that I was the criminal, exactly what I'd been afraid of. He produced his detailed notebook, claiming he'd been documenting my disturbing behavior since mom's death. According to his new story, I'd been obsessed with our stepfather, jealous of his relationship with mom, and he'd been trying to protect him while gathering evidence. He cried perfectly, this traumatized older brother who'd caught his disturbed younger sister trying to kill their only remaining parent. He'd prepared for this possibility. The antifreeze bottle only had my fingerprints because he always wore gloves. He had recordings of me talking about his symptoms, taken out of context. He'd even planted searches about poison on my laptop. When his squad came and searched our house, they found everything pointed to me. Kyle told them he'd been trying to get me help, but I'd threatened to kill myself if he exposed me. Several family friends confirmed I'd been acting strange and sick lately. It really seemed like Kyle had thought of everything. But actually, he'd forgotten one crucial thing, our doorbell camera. Our stepfather had installed it last Christmas, and it had recorded him carrying antifreeze into the house multiple times, always when our stepdad wasn't home. The footage showed him disposing of empty bottles in neighbors' trash cans. Most damning was audio of him threatening me in the driveway, saying he'd make my death look like guilt-driven suicide if I didn't cooperate. Even his cop buddies couldn't overlook that. He got 25 years for attempted murder and coercion. Our stepfather survived but has permanent kidney damage.